What would you do if you had a dream so big, but nowhere to sleep? No home, no money, just a car. That's the exact reality Steve Harvey lived. Before the laughter, the millions, the suits, the shows, there was a broken man sleeping in his car. But he never gave up, and that made all the difference. Humble beginnings in West Virginia. Steve Harvey was born in Welch, West Virginia, in 1957, a small coal mining town where dreams didn't often grow tall. His father, Jesse Harvey, worked as a coal miner, and his mother, Eloise, was a Sunday school teacher. Steve came from a deeply religious family, one that valued faith, hard work, and resilience. Growing up, he lived in modest conditions, in a home filled with love but short on money. Even as a child, Steve had a knack for making people laugh. He didn't know it then, but this gift would one day rescue him from despair. His early life shaped his views on struggle and faith. Despite racial tensions and poverty, he grew up believing that he was meant for more. The seeds of ambition were sown early, even if the path was unclear. These formative years would one day serve as the emotional foundation of his success story. Discovering the dream. Steve didn't immediately chase comedy. After graduating high school, he tried a number of jobs: mailman, carpet cleaner, insurance salesman, even boxer. None satisfied his soul. Then in 1985, he entered an amateur night at a comedy club. He bombed badly, but he felt alive. That moment lit a spark. He realized comedy wasn't just entertainment, it was his calling. Leaving security behind, he pursued the risky path of stand-up. With no roadmap, just passion, he threw himself into the grind, working any stage that would have him. From bars to church basements, his journey began with rejection, late-night drives, and a belief that somehow, one day, he'd make people laugh loud enough to pay the bills. This chapter marked the moment Steve stopped existing and started living. The road to rock bottom. Steve's decision to pursue comedy full-time came with sacrifices. He left his job and financial security behind. Gigs were inconsistent, pay was low or non-existent. Eventually, he couldn't afford rent and started living in his 1976 Ford Tempo. For 3 years, this car became his bedroom, kitchen, and thinking space. He bathed in gas stations and survived on whatever food he could afford. Nights were cold and lonely. He battled doubt, hunger, and exhaustion, but never gave up. This wasn't temporary, it was his life. Yet, he clung to his dream. Every open mic was a chance to be seen. Every audience member was hope. His faith, sharpened by hardship, kept him alive. While others saw failure, Steve saw preparation. He believed, even at rock bottom, that the climb was coming. Pain, prayer, and perseverance. Living in a car wasn't just uncomfortable, it was emotionally brutal. Steve missed birthdays, holidays, and milestones with his children. The guilt was crushing. Yet each night, after long drives and unpaid gigs, he sat in that car and prayed. He wasn't asking for riches just for a break. Something to show him that the struggle wasn't in vain. He cried himself to sleep more nights than he could count. But the next day, he got up, cleaned himself at a gas station, and hit the stage again. He found ways to channel pain into performance. Jokes weren't just laughs. They were lifelines. He began to master the art of making others laugh while healing himself in the process. His perseverance wasn't just about career, it was about survival. The call that changed everything. One day, while still living in his car, Steve got a call that would change his life. Showtime at the Apollo needed a last-minute host. He had just enough gas money to get there. No fancy clothes. No manager. Just a man with a prayer and a purpose. He performed with everything he had. His charisma, energy, and raw honesty captivated the audience. It was the break he had prayed for. The producers were impressed and offered him a permanent hosting role. From that moment, his life began to change rapidly. Bigger gigs followed. His name started circulating in the comedy world. That one opportunity seized with desperation and faith, became the pivot point in his story, from homelessness to household name. Chapter 6. From Cars to Cameras. Following his Apollo debut, Steve Harvey became a fixture in comedy. He toured nationally, headlined shows, and landed television appearances. But he didn't stop at stand-up. He transitioned into radio with The Steve Harvey Morning Show, which became a national hit. Later, he reinvented himself again as the host of Family Feud, earning global fame. He wrote best-selling books, including Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man. Steve built an empire: comedy, radio, television, and books, all anchored in authenticity. Yet, through it all, he never forgot the car, the gas stations, or the nights alone. His past didn't haunt him, it guided him. From the backseat of a tempo to the front stage of Hollywood, Steve Harvey showed what faith, hustle, and grit could build, turning pain into power. With fame came responsibility. Steve knew his story wasn't just his own, it was a message. He began mentoring young men, sharing his struggles openly. He launched the Steve and Marjorie Harvey Foundation, focusing on education, mentoring, and empowerment. He turned his pain into purpose. He told kids from broken homes and hard neighborhoods, "I've been where you are. Don't quit." He created platforms for others to rise. His success wasn't just about wealth, it was about impact. He started annual camps, funded college scholarships, and used his media influence to spread positivity. For Steve, giving back wasn't charity, it was legacy. His pain had been his teacher, and now he became a guide for others. Rules of the Rise. Over time, Steve developed a personal philosophy on success. He believed in 5 key principles. 1. Never stop believing. 2. Show up even when it's hard. 3. Use your God-given gift. 4. Don't wait for the perfect moment. And 5.5.com. Help others rise with you. These rules weren't theories. They were battle-tested truths. They were born in hardship and refined in triumph. Steve taught that failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of the journey. He shared these insights in books, speeches, and interviews, always returning to his roots. His rise wasn't magic, it was mindset. Anyone willing to endure the dark could reach the light. These rules became more than advice, they became a movement. The man behind the mic. Despite his public persona, Steve Harvey is deeply introspective. He's known for his sharp suits and sharper wit, but offstage, he's a family man, a man of faith, and a relentless learner. He meditates, journals, and reads daily. He credits God for his transformation. His wife Marjorie has been a pillar of strength. Together, they've built a blended family rooted in love and resilience. Steve's journey is still ongoing. He continues to evolve, expand, and explore new ventures. From fashion to philanthropy, he reinvents with purpose. He's more than a celebrity. He's a symbol of what's possible when you refuse to quit. Behind the mic is a man who once had nothing but never gave up. Your turn to rise. Steve Harvey's story is a mirror. It reflects not just where he's been, but where you could go. Maybe you're in your version of that car right now, stuck, struggling, uncertain. Maybe your dream feels too far, too fragile. But remember, so did his. Every success story starts with a decision not to quit. The road will be rough. You will cry. You will doubt. But if you keep moving, keep believing, and keep showing up, your Apollo moment will come. Let Steve's story fuel your fire. You're not helpless. You're not hopeless. You're being prepared. The question isn't if you'll rise, it's when. So stand up, start again. Your turn begins now. What would you do? If you had a dream so big, but nowhere to sleep? No home, no money, just a car. That's the exact reality Steve Harvey lived. Before the laughter, the millions, the suits, the shows, there was a broken man sleeping in his car. But he never gave up, and that made all the difference. He was homeless. He was broken. but he was never helpless. This is the story of a man who didn't just make it, he made it count. If this story moved you, if Steve Harvey's journey from sleeping in a car to standing in the spotlight gave you even a flicker of hope, then don't let it stop here. Like this video to keep the motivation alive. Subscribe to Legend Made Here, where every story reminds you that legends aren't born, they're made through pain, perseverance, and purpose. And share this with someone who needs to hear. Rock bottom isn't the end, it's the beginning. Your legend could be next. Are you ready?